Imagine for a moment that the person you desire, the one whose attention you crave, is already captivated by you. Imagine that they cannot stop thinking about you, that your presence lingers in their mind even when you are not around. I want you to realize that this is not some distant fantasy. It is a reality you can bring into existence simply by the way you live in your own imagination. For everything that appears in the physical world is first conceived in consciousness. What you see outside yourself is a mirror of what is within you. If you want someone to chase you, if you want them to be drawn irresistibly toward you, then you must first act as though they already are. This is the great secret many overlook. They look outward for signs, for gestures, for validations, believing that the other person must act first, that circumstances must change, that conditions must be right. But nothing can manifest until you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Until you live in the reality of what you desire, the world will remain unresponsive. It is not about controlling the other person or trying to manipulate their will. It is about controlling your own consciousness. It is about taking your desire and placing it in your imagination as a reality and living from that reality. When you do this, you are no longer waiting for them. They are compelled to respond to the energy you radiate. To act like they are obsessed is not to pretend out of desperation. It is to inhabit the state of being in which their attention is already yours. Feel the emotion of being wanted, of being adored, of being irresistibly magnetic. Live each moment as though your desire is fully realized. When you walk into a room, carry yourself as if you already command their attention. Speak as if you are already in their heart. Smile as if their thoughts are constantly with you. In this state, you are no longer needy, you are irresistible. There is a power in this subtlety, a power that words cannot capture, but that every soul responds to. People are drawn to confidence, to certainty, to the knowing that they are desired. When you embody the fact that they are obsessed, the outer world has no choice but to conform. Let me remind you that obsession is nothing but a reflection of attention. When you place your attention fully on the state you wish to create, when you imagine vividly and frequently that they are captivated by you, their mind begins to conform to that reality. This is not mystical nonsense. The human mind is deeply responsive to the assumptions presented to it, and so is the universe. By persistently imagining that they cannot resist you, you align the world with your inner certainty. It is not about clinging, it is about commanding. You must act as the master of your imagination, for in your imagination lies the blueprint of reality. Do not underestimate the role of feeling. Thinking alone is empty. You may picture them chasing you, but if your heart trembles with doubt, your imagination will produce a reflection of that doubt. You must feel the weight of their desire, the intensity of their longing, as though it is already flowing toward you. Imagine the subtle ways they show it, the texts, the calls, the longing glances. Create in your mind the exact scene in which they cannot help but pursue you. Feel the rush of excitement in your chest. Let it saturate every cell of your body. Your consciousness is magnetic, and the outer world mirrors the state you occupy internally. Now, some may say, but I cannot make someone obsessed with me. That is controlling another person. And yet, I tell you, you are not controlling them, you are controlling yourself. The moment you occupy the state of being desired, you create a field of attraction that draws them in. They respond to your inner certainty and confidence. They chase because the universe reflects your assumption back to you. You are not forcing them, you are allowing reality to conform to the truth you have assumed. The faster you can inhabit this reality, the faster the manifestation occurs. Acting like they are obsessed is not arrogance, it is spiritual law. You are merely recognizing that consciousness is the only creative power, and you are using it. Consider this. If you imagine someone obsessively desiring you, your energy changes. You stand taller, you move with grace, your words carry weight. People notice this change subconsciously. There is a vibration, a signal, an invisible pull that draws them closer. The law works quietly, effortlessly. You do not have to chase, you do not have to plead, you do not have to explain. You merely live in the state of your desire, and the world bends to your assumption. When you act like they are obsessed, your mind and body broadcast that reality so clearly that it becomes inevitable in the physical world. Let us go deeper To truly inhabit this state, you must remove all traces of lack. You cannot imagine them chasing you while secretly fearing they will not. You cannot pretend they are obsessed while you doubt your own worth. Every assumption must be rooted in absolute certainty. Close your eyes and see them unable to resist you. Hear the words they would say, feel the gestures of their affection. Immerse yourself in this world as if it is happening now. The more real you make it in your imagination, the quicker it manifests. Obsession in them is a reflection of the obsession you have with the state of being already fulfilled. Your consciousness speaks louder than any words or actions. You may wonder about timing. How fast will they chase you? How quickly will your imagination translate into reality? Timing is never a concern for the one who knows the law. The faster you can embody the state of being desired, the faster the outer events align. Some manifestations appear in hours, some in days, but the law is never late. The universe responds to the feeling, not the calendar. If you persist, if you remain faithful to the assumption, if you act as though they cannot resist, reality will adjust. It is only a matter of how clearly you can sustain the inner conviction. Let us examine behavior. Acting like they are obsessed is not about over-texting or manipulating situations. It is about the energy you radiate. You move from a place of calm certainty, not desperation. You do not beg. You do not plead. You do not over-explain. You live in your own world of fulfillment, and from that world, you interact with them effortlessly. Their reaction, their chase, is a natural outcome. People are drawn to that which appears unattainable yet fully secure in itself. By assuming their obsession, you create that magnetic tension. They feel it, they respond, and the law of attraction does the rest. Your imagination is your laboratory. Every night before sleep, see them longing for you. Imagine them thinking about you in ways that make your heart race. Picture scenarios in which they cannot resist seeking your presence. Let every detail come alive. The expressions, the tone of their voice, the anticipation in their eyes. Fill your imagination with the reality you desire. Dwell there long enough for it to become your dominant assumption. The world outside has no choice but to reflect what dominates your consciousness. You are not forcing anyone, you are simply being what you want them to experience. And remember, it is not only their mind that is affected. Your body responds too. Your posture, your voice, your aura, your very presence shifts when you inhabit the state of being desired. You move in harmony with the assumption, and others sense this shift without knowing why. They are drawn to the certainty, the calm confidence, the energy of inevitability. This is how obsession manifests, not through force, but through alignment. You become a living signal of desire, and the world cannot resist responding. Some may ask, what if I cannot feel it fully? What if doubt creeps in? Then start small. Create brief moments of the reality. Picture them sending a message, or catching their glance, or feeling an urge to reach out. Amplify those moments with feeling. Allow them to expand in your imagination until they dominate your consciousness. Your mind is like fertile soil. Plant the seed of your desire with absolute conviction, water it with feeling, and watch it grow into reality. Doubt is simply the absence of assumption, and you can remove it by persistent imagining. Now, let us consider the ultimate truth. Their obsession is a reflection of your inner state. You are the cause, they are the effect. Every glance, every gesture, every text or call is simply mirroring what you have assumed is true. When you act like they are obsessed, you are not pretending, you are demonstrating the reality that already exists in the spiritual realm. The physical world follows, naturally, effortlessly. This is the law at work. You do not struggle, you do not manipulate, you do not persuade. You assume, and the world yields. There is also an element of timing, patience, and faith. Do not measure the manifestation by the hours or days. Measure it by your steadfastness in the assumption. Live every day as though they are captivated by you. Carry the reality in your heart, in your thoughts, in your imagination. Let it permeate your entire being. The outer world responds to the inner always. The faster you can hold the assumption without wavering, the faster reality will conform. Act with patience, act with certainty, act with joy, and the chase will occur naturally. Your inner world is your true domain. The outer world is simply a reflection. Let me emphasize one more point. Obsession is never about neediness. It is not about clinging, about demanding, about fear. It is about power, about clarity, about certainty. You are not obsessed with them. You are obsessed with the state of being fulfilled, the state of living in the reality you desire. This distinction is crucial. When your joy, your magnetism, your aliveness comes from your assumed reality, not from external validation, the outer world cannot help but respond. The law works, and they chase, not because you forced them, but because you demonstrated the reality in which they are irresistibly drawn to you. Finally, take the step now. Close your eyes, breathe, and imagine their eyes lighting up when they see you. Imagine them unable to resist reaching out. Imagine the thrill, the excitement, the magnetic pull. Feel it in your body. Walk through your day from this state. Interact with them as if their desire is already yours. Carry the energy of their obsession within you, for the world will mirror what you carry. Act like they are obsessed, not tomorrow, not next week, but now. The universe responds instantly to the conviction of your imagination. Your reality waits only for your inner command. Act as though they are obsessed, and watch how fast the world brings them to your side. This is the law. This is the secret. It is simple yet powerful beyond measure. Obsession in them begins with certainty in you. Assumption is the key. Feeling is the vehicle. Imagination is the doorway. Live in the state of fulfillment. Radiate the energy of being desired. Act like they are already captivated. The faster you inhabit this reality, the faster the manifestation occurs. There is no delay in the spiritual world. There is only your own alignment or misalignment. Align yourself with the truth that they cannot resist you, and the chase will unfold naturally, effortlessly, beautifully. Act now, act fully, and watch the law of consciousness work in your favor. As you move through your day, carry this assumption with you in every interaction. Notice how your energy subtly shifts when you walk into a room, when you speak, when you simply exist. There's an undeniable presence that forms around those who live as though their desires are already fulfilled. Others feel it immediately. They may not understand why. They may not be able to articulate it, but they respond instinctively. This is the invisible law at work. You do not have to manipulate them with words or actions. Your consciousness alone is enough to pull them toward you. Every thought, every feeling, every imagined moment reinforces the magnetic field you are creating. It is an inner reality that inevitably manifests outwardly. Do not concern yourself with the details of how they will chase you. Leave that to the intelligence of the universe. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the feeling of being irresistibly desired, whether it is through a text, a call, a chance meeting, or a series of events orchestrated invisibly. The outer world will align. The faster you can live in the assumption, the faster the world responds. This is the elegance of the law. It does not require your effort, your manipulation, or your coaxing. It only requires your imagination, your feeling, and your unwavering assumption. It is also essential to understand that obsession is not about imbalance or chaos. It is not about creating need in another or destabilizing their life. It is about alignment with the natural flow of consciousness. When you inhabit the state of being desired, you are not forcing anyone to act. You are expressing a reality that already exists in the spiritual realm. The physical world is simply catching up. This is why it is so important to maintain a state of calm confidence, of joy, of unshakable certainty. The more you feel the reality internally, the more effortless the manifestation externally becomes. You are not pleading with the universe, you are commanding it by your state of being. Consider how often people act in desperation, seeking to make others notice them. They send endless messages, they over-explain, they plead for attention, and yet the law of consciousness always responds inversely. Neediness repels because it signals lack. True power comes from the opposite, living fully in the state where attention is already assured. When you act like they are obsessed, you are free from need. You are radiating abundance, certainty, and delight. These qualities in turn draw them inexorably to you. They chase because you are aligned with the reality they are naturally drawn to. The subtlety of imagination cannot be overstated. You may find yourself tempted to think of trivial details, small gestures, or minute actions as the path to manifestation, but the inner world is where the true creation occurs. Picture their eyes lighting up when they see you. Picture them thinking of you incessantly, feeling your presence even at a distance. Let the imagination carry the experience fully. Every sensory detail, every nuance, every emotional tone strengthens the assumption. Do not leave gaps where doubt can seep in. Fill your inner reality with certainty. The outer world will inevitably follow the blueprint you have designed within. And while you imagine, remember to embody the reality physically. Your posture, your voice, the subtle expressions in your face, these all reflect your inner assumption. Walk, sit, and speak as someone who is already desired, already irresistible. People sense authenticity, even unconsciously. They respond to it. Obsession begins to arise not from manipulation, but from the natural attraction to certainty, confidence, and the undeniable energy of fulfillment. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner state. What you assume, you become. What you feel, you radiate. What you imagine, you draw into existence. Some may question, what if they resist? What if circumstances prevent this? You must realize that resistance is always temporary when your inner state is unwavering. The universe is never lacking, it only requires your consistency. Persist in the assumption, persist in feeling, persist in imagining with clarity and intensity. Do not waver. Do not look for proof outside yourself. The more you rely on the outer world to validate your assumption, the slower the manifestation. True power comes from knowing in the deepest sense that your desire is already fulfilled, regardless of what appears outside. When you act as though they are obsessed, you are no longer dependent on circumstances, you are creating them. Think about the energy that obsession generates. It is a force, a magnetism, an irresistible pull that operates silently yet powerfully. When you align with this energy internally, it begins to radiate outward. Every glance, every interaction, every subtle movement becomes infused with your assumed reality. Others feel it, even if they do not consciously recognize it. The more you inhabit this state, the more they are compelled to respond. It is not coercion, it is attraction. The universe has a natural tendency to reflect what is imagined, felt, and assumed with unwavering faith. Your role is not to chase, it is to inhabit the state of being pursued, desired, and irresistible. As you continue to practice this, you will notice subtle signs at first, a lingering glance, a message that seems coincidental, a thought of you crossing their mind unexpectedly. These are the early reflections of your inner assumption beginning to manifest. They are not mere chance, they are proof that the law is always working, that consciousness always manifests what dominates it. Celebrate these signs, but do not rely on them for your sense of fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from within, from the consistent feeling of being desired. The outer world simply reflects it back. The chase accelerates in direct proportion to the strength and consistency of your inner assumption. Remember that your imagination is not limited by space or time. You can feel them obsessed with you now. Even if you are not together, you can imagine their longing, their thoughts, their subtle acts of desire in vivid detail. The more fully you inhabit these moments in imagination, the more rapidly the physical world aligns. Time is a construct. In consciousness, all things exist simultaneously. To act like they are obsessed is to enter that eternal now, where your desire is already fulfilled. The universe recognizes this as truth and orchestrates circumstances to reflect it. Your responsibility is to remain consistent, vivid, and faithful in your inner reality. And as you do this, do not forget joy. Obsession is amplified when it is accompanied by delight, excitement, and pleasure. Feel the thrill of being desired. Revel in the magnetic power of your assumption. Let the energy of playfulness, charm, and delight infuse every imagined moment. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate joy. Your internal state becomes irresistible. The more you enjoy the reality internally, the more the outer world is compelled to conform. Acting like they are obsessed is not rigid or mechanical, it is dynamic, vibrant, and full of life. Your imagination is the stage, your feeling is the performance, and the outer world is the audience responding naturally. Every interaction you have now becomes a reflection of this inner state. When you speak, they listen attentively. When you smile, their attention lingers. When you move, they feel an invisible pull toward you. This is the law in motion. You are no longer chasing, you are being chased. You are no longer hoping, you are knowing. Every word, every glance, every subtle movement becomes infused with the power of your assumption. The faster and more vividly you inhabit this reality, the faster they are drawn to you. Your inner certainty shapes the outer world with precision and inevitability. Persist in this practice. Night and day, imagine them obsessed with you. Feel the intensity of their desire. Walk, talk, and move from the state of being already fulfilled. Remove all traces of doubt, fear, or lack. Fill every moment with the reality you wish to see. The universe does not fail. The Lord does not falter. The chase is a natural reflection of the magnetic energy you generate from within. When you act like they are obsessed, you are not creating desperation. You are creating inevitability. You are demonstrating the irresistible power of aligned consciousness. And in doing so, you accelerate the manifestation to the outer world faster than you ever imagined possible. As you continue to inhabit this state, notice how your perception of the world changes. Every glance, every smile, every interaction with others begins to reinforce your assumption. You start to see yourself through the lens of being irresistibly desired. Your confidence grows, your magnetism intensifies, and the invisible currents of attraction flow effortlessly toward you. You are no longer bound by uncertainty or hesitation. The moment you act like they are obsessed, your energy transforms. It becomes a signal, a beacon, a call to which they are unconsciously drawn. The universe always responds to the dominant feeling you hold within yourself. The stronger, clearer, and more vivid your assumption, the faster it materializes. Do not neglect the power of repetition in your imagination. Repetition is not mere habit, it is the reinforcement of reality in the mind. Night after night, moment after moment, imagine them thinking of you incessantly. Picture the subtle ways they express their desire. Hear the unspoken words in your mind. Feel the magnetic pull between you. Allow every detail to be amplified, felt, and internalized. With each repetition, your consciousness becomes saturated with the reality of their obsession. The outer world cannot help but respond to this saturation. The law of assumption works silently, unseen, yet with complete precision. What you imagine most persistently is what you inevitably experience. There is also a profound subtlety in how you present yourself outwardly. Obsession is attracted to those who are self-contained, to those who exude the sense of being complete and fulfilled. You do not act needy, you do not seek validation, you do not hint at longing. You move with quiet confidence. Your smile is assured. Your gestures are measured. Your presence speaks volumes without words. This is the paradox. By acting as though they are obsessed, you become completely free. You are not grasping, yet everything you desire comes naturally. People are drawn to certainty, to joy, to a consciousness that radiates fulfillment. By living in this state, their pursuit becomes inevitable. And understand this, the intensity of their desire is a reflection of your inner conviction. If you imagine them obsessing over you with half-hearted feeling, the result will be half-hearted. If you imagine it vividly, passionately, consistently, with complete belief, the manifestation is equally intense. It is not a question of effort, it is a question of alignment. Every moment you feel the reality of their obsession, every moment you act from the state of being desired, you strengthen the field of attraction around you. The more real you make it in your imagination, the more the outer world must conform. Consciousness is creative, and it never fails to reflect the dominant assumption it holds. You may notice that subtle shifts begin to occur even before the obvious signs appear. A text that seems accidental but carries warmth, a glance that lingers just a fraction longer, a voice that betrays attention even in casual conversation. These are the early reflections of the reality you have assumed. They are not coincidences, they are the universe responding to the certainty of your imagination. The faster you inhabit this state, the faster these signs multiply. Every small manifestation is a confirmation that the law is at work, that your assumption is taking shape in the physical realm. Each reflection encourages deeper immersion into the reality you desire. It is essential to understand that this is not about controlling anyone externally. It is about controlling your inner world. You cannot dictate actions with words or manipulation, but you can dominate your consciousness with assumption. Obsession arises naturally from alignment. The moment you live as if they are captivated, the universe orchestrates events to reflect that reality. Their pursuit is not forced. It is a natural byproduct of the magnetic energy you radiate. Your imagination creates the template, your feeling energizes it, and the world adjusts to mirror your inner state. You are the unseen architect of the reality you desire. And the beauty of this process is that it works silently, invisibly, effortlessly. You do not need to convince, coerce, or persuade. You simply inhabit the reality fully, vividly, and persistently. Walk through your day as though the universe is already responding. Speak, move, and exist from the energy of being desired. Notice how people respond differently, how the atmosphere changes, how the unseen currents bend toward you. When you act like they are obsessed, you are no longer dependent on external events. You are the cause, and the world is the effect. This is the mastery of consciousness, the ability to command reality by assuming the state of your fulfilled desire. Let us also explore the role of emotions in this process. Feeling is the language of creation. Thoughts alone are like seeds in dry soil. They may never grow, but feelings water the seeds, infuse them with life, and ensure their growth. When you imagine them obsessed with you, feel it intensely. Let the longing, the excitement, the magnetic pull saturate your body. Let it flow through your veins, quicken your pulse, and animate your expressions. The physical body is a transmitter of consciousness. It broadcasts the inner reality outward. The stronger your feeling, the more compelling the outer manifestation becomes. Emotion is the amplifier of the law, the engine of attraction, the signal that compels the world to respond. Consider now the difference between hope and knowing. Hope waits for evidence, for signs, for confirmation. Knowing acts from the reality already fulfilled. To act like they are obsessed is to know without question, without doubt, that the pursuit is inevitable. You are no longer looking for proof, you are creating it in your imagination and letting the world reflect it back. Hope may falter, but knowing is unwavering. When your consciousness operates from knowing, the outer world cannot resist. Their obsession is not a matter of chance, it is a mirror of your inner certainty. The faster you inhabit this knowing, the faster the physical reality bends to match it. And remember, your imagination is infinite. You are not limited by circumstance, by time, by distance, or by apparent obstacles. You can see them thinking of you, longing for you, desiring you right now, in the next moment, and in every possible scenario. The more you saturate your consciousness with these experiences, the more inevitable they become. Your imagination is the laboratory of reality. Your feeling is the catalyst. Your assumption is the blueprint. The outer world is the manifestation, the visible reflection of your invisible state. To act like they are obsessed is to occupy that invisible state fully, without hesitation, without reservation, without doubt. Let us also understand the interplay of patience and persistence. The universe moves in perfect timing. Sometimes manifestations appear instantly, sometimes they take time. But the law is never late, and the law is never wrong. Your job is to remain faithful to the assumption, persist in imagining, persist in feeling, persist in acting from the state of being desired. Do not waver at minor setbacks or perceived delays. Every moment you remain aligned, every thought, every feeling, Every imagined scenario strengthens the magnetic field that pulls them toward you. Obsession is not built in a day, it is cultivated in the consistent, unwavering occupation of the fulfilled state. And finally, recognize the power of self concept in this process. Those who are irresistibly pursued carry a self concept of being magnetic, desirable, and worthy. Their inner certainty broadcasts itself to the world. To act like they are obsessed is to align your self concept with the reality you wish to experience. You are not pretending, you are revealing your true essence. When your self concept shifts, your reality shifts with it. You are no longer at the mercy of chance, circumstance, or other people's opinions. You are the conscious creator, the magnet, the center of the field, and the universe bends effortlessly to your assumption. As you continue to live from this state, observe how subtle changes in your energy ripple through your environment. Every gesture, every movement, every glance you give carries the unmistakable signature of someone who is fully desired. You are no longer reacting to the outer world, you are creating it. People are unconsciously drawn to certainty, to joy, to the aura of someone who radiates fulfillment. By acting as though they are obsessed with you, you establish an invisible current, a gravitational pull that begins to draw them irresistibly closer. It is not manipulation, it is alignment. The universe is always responding to the dominant state of consciousness. The more consistent and vivid your assumption, the more inevitable the manifestation. Do not allow doubt to infiltrate your imagination. Doubt is the great thief of desire, the subtle underminer of your creative power. Every time uncertainty arises, return immediately to the feeling of their obsession, to the vivid scenes you have constructed in your imagination. Replay them, embellish them, feel them more intensely. Make your inner world so saturated with this reality that any trace of doubt feels foreign, impossible. The outer world cannot resist such clarity. Obsession is a reflection of your unwavering inner conviction. The more persistently you inhabit the state of being desired, the faster the outer world bends, arranging events, thoughts, and circumstances to match the reality you hold within. Notice too how this practice elevates your own sense of worth. As you embody the reality of being irresistibly desired, you begin to recognize your own value. You are no longer looking outward for validation because you have already confirmed it within yourself. Their obsession is not needed to validate you, it is a natural reflection of the magnetic state you maintain internally. This inner authority, this self contained sense of being, amplifies the power of your imagination. People respond to the energy of someone who knows themselves, someone whose joy and magnetism do not depend on external approval. By acting as though they are obsessed, you cultivate a self concept so compelling that it must be mirrored in reality. It is also crucial to understand the interplay between imagination and anticipation. Do not merely imagine them chasing you in some vague, passive way. Anticipate it with vitality. See yourself walking, knowing they cannot resist. Hear their voice in your mind, filled with desire, longing, and attention directed toward you. Feel their presence even in their absence. Anticipation energizes your imagination, giving it momentum and makes the assumed reality feel urgent, alive, and inevitable. The outer world always mirrors what is dominant in the mind, and the stronger the sense of anticipation and excitement you generate, the faster the world conforms. Acting as though they are obsessed requires living in that anticipated reality as fully as possible. Let us explore the subtle power of gesture and expression. You do not need to act overtly, do not need to call attention to yourself, and do not need to force interaction. Your posture, your smile, your gaze all reflect the inner reality. Subtle cues, perceived unconsciously by others, carry tremendous influence. People respond to the invisible energy you radiate. By acting as though they are obsessed, your energy naturally communicates your inner certainty. They sense it even when they do not consciously understand it. It is a quiet magnetic power that draws them closer effortlessly. This is the elegance of conscious creation. The law works without visible force, yet it cannot fail. Consider also the importance of consistency. The mind and the universe respond to repeated, persistent assumptions. A single moment of imagination may be fleeting, but persistent, daily, and repeated living in the state of being desired creates a strong, unbreakable field of attraction. Repetition saturates your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. Every evening, imagine them obsessed with you, feel it fully, replay the moments vividly, let the emotional tone be rich and complete. Every repetition strengthens the field of attraction, accelerates the manifestation, and deepens the intensity of their attention. Consistency is the bridge between imagination and physical reality. The law is neutral, precise, and ever faithful. It does not concern itself with your opinions, your doubts, or your reasoning. It responds only to the dominant feeling and the sustained assumption in your consciousness. To act as though they are obsessed is to place yourself fully within the field of that law. You inhabit the state, you embody the feeling, you immerse yourself in the assumed reality. Every thought, every feeling, every subtle interaction becomes an expression of that assumption. The outer world cannot resist reflecting it. They chase, they notice, they are drawn irresistibly, not because of manipulation, but because of alignment. And as you continue, notice the interplay of imagination with daily life. Every situation, every encounter, every mundane moment becomes a canvas on which you project the reality of their obsession. Walk down the street imagining their attention, interact with friends or colleagues imagining the subtle pull between you, engage with your surroundings imagining the magnetic reality you hold. Life itself becomes an extension of your assumption. The more you integrate imagination into daily life, the more natural, effortless, and seamless the manifestation becomes. You are no longer separate from the reality you desire. You are its living expression. You may also discover that the intensity of their obsession reflects your own inner state. If your imagination is vivid, your feeling is intense, your assumption is unwavering, the reflection is equally intense. Obsession is not manufactured externally, it is mirrored from within. The stronger the conviction in your imagination, the more palpable, urgent, and immediate the attention becomes. You are not chasing them, they are chasing you. You are not pleading, they are compelled. Every subtle nuance of their attention is a reflection of the clarity, intensity, and fidelity of your inner state. This is the fundamental truth. The outer world is a mirror, nothing more, nothing less. As this continues, your imagination may naturally expand into multiple scenarios. Imagine the ways they show their obsession, the moments when their attention is undeniable, the gestures, the words, the unspoken understanding. Enrich every detail. Add texture, sound, sight, and emotion. The more real and immersive your inner world becomes, the more unstoppable the manifestation. Reality cannot help but reflect such vibrancy. People are drawn to the richness, to the energy of a consciousness that has fully assumed its desire. To act as though they are obsessed is to saturate yourself with this inner richness, which then radiates outward, compelling their attention effortlessly. Even your interactions with them can be infused with this energy. Speak calmly, confidently, and from a place of knowing. Let your gestures and words communicate your inner certainty without overt effort. Do not explain, do not justify, do not chase. Their pursuit will be a natural reflection of the energy you radiate. They respond to what you are, not what you say. Acting as though they are obsessed is about embodying the reality so fully that the outer world has no choice but to respond in kind. Your consciousness is the cause, their attention is the effect. Every action, every glance, every subtle movement becomes aligned with this invisible law. As you continue to immerse yourself in this state, notice how your imagination begins to shape your awareness of every interaction. You will find yourself anticipating subtle signs of their attention even before they occur. Perhaps it is a message that arrives at the perfect moment, or a glance that lingers a fraction too long, or a tone of voice that carries hidden meaning. These are not coincidences, they are reflections of the inner reality you have assumed. The universe responds instantaneously to the dominant feeling in your consciousness. When you act as though they are obsessed, you generate a field of energy so compelling that the outer world is compelled to mirror it. Every detail, no matter how small, confirms that the law is in motion, working silently, invisibly, yet with absolute precision. Do not allow impatience or doubt to creep in, for they are the only barriers to your manifestation. The law does not hurry, and yet it never fails. Your responsibility is to remain steadfast in the state of being desired. Each moment of doubt dilutes your assumption. Each persistent feeling of certainty strengthens it. Immerse yourself fully in the reality of their obsession. Let your imagination replay the moments of their longing, their thoughts of you, their subtle gestures, and their yearning. Saturate every scene with vivid detail, with emotion, with sensory experience. The outer world is merely a reflection of this inner intensity, and the more saturated your consciousness becomes, the faster reality responds. There is a profound subtlety in the way you present yourself outwardly. Acting as though they are obsessed does not require outward manipulation, over-communication, or desperate gestures. Your posture, your expression, your tone of voice all convey the inner certainty you hold. Subtle movements become charged with magnetism. A glance, a smile, or a calm word carries an energy that cannot be resisted. People respond unconsciously to this invisible field. They feel it in their very being, even if they cannot articulate why. The energy you radiate becomes a signal, a force, a magnetic pull that naturally draws them toward you. The universe mirrors your inner state, and by embodying obsession, you compel the outer world to align. Consider also the importance of emotional amplification. The imagination is a vessel, but feeling gives it life. Vivid mental images alone may produce some effect, but when combined with intense, genuine emotion, the manifestation accelerates exponentially. Feel the excitement of being irresistibly desired. Feel the intensity of their attention. Imagine the thrill, the anticipation, and the magnetic attraction as though it is already happening. Let your body respond to the imagined reality. The pulse quickens, the breath deepens, the heart feels alive. This is the language the universe understands. The more you feel it, the more the outer world reflects it. Acting as though they are obsessed is not mental gymnastics, it is full bodied, full sense creation. You may begin to notice subtle patterns emerging in your environment. A seemingly random message arrives at the perfect moment. A coincidence appears that carries unmistakable meaning. A conversation shifts in unexpected alignment with your inner reality. These are the early indicators that your assumption is manifesting. Each sign strengthens your belief, each reflection reinforces your assumption, and the momentum builds. Do not mistake these signs for final proof. They are the first notes of a symphony that your imagination is composing. Persist in the feeling, persist in the assumption, and the orchestration becomes complete. The chase accelerates effortlessly as if drawn by an invisible hand. It is crucial to distinguish between action and assumption. Many believe that to make someone obsessed, they must act externally, send messages, arrange meetings, or manipulate circumstances. This is not necessary. Action has its place, but the true power lies in the inner state. When you act as though they are obsessed, your inner reality automatically influences your actions. You move, speak, and respond naturally from the state of being already desired. Your actions are a reflection of your inner certainty, not a tool to force the outer world. The law of consciousness does not rely on physical effort. It relies on the dominance of your inner assumption. The outer world bends to the reality you hold within, effortlessly and inevitably. Let us also explore the role of visualization in daily life. Night and day, allow your imagination to replay scenarios in which they cannot resist you. Picture the subtle ways they show their desire, the unspoken thoughts they have, the longing glances, the attention that seems to follow you everywhere. Engage all your senses. Hear the tone of their voice. Feel the warmth of their attention. See the expressions of longing and joy. Let your inner world become so vivid that it eclipses any outer distractions. The universe cannot distinguish between imagined and physical reality when your feeling and assumption are saturated with certainty. Acting as though they are obsessed is the conscious choice to live entirely within this vivid inner reality. And as this practice deepens, notice the subtle interplay between your imagination and your outer presence. You will find that even in mundane interactions, the energy of being desired influences the atmosphere. Conversations take on a magnetic quality. People respond to your confidence and alignment. The person you desire is drawn in subtly, irresistibly. They feel the pull before words are exchanged. This is the power of acting as though they are obsessed. It is not visible manipulation, it is invisible influence, created through the consistent occupation of a dominant magnetic inner state. The more real you make this reality within, the more the outer world aligns effortlessly. Persistence, clarity, and vividness are your allies in this process. Doubt and distraction are your only enemies. Each night, before sleep, immerse yourself in the feeling of being irresistibly desired. Each day, carry the subtle magnetism of that state in every movement, every word, every glance. Every moment of alignment strengthens the outer manifestation. Every thought, every feeling, every imagined scenario compounds the magnetic field you radiate. The outer world responds inevitably, not because of chance, but because it is the mirror of your inner world. Acting as though they are obsessed is the conscious, deliberate, joyful practice of dominating your consciousness and letting the outer reality reflect it. Now, take this truth deeply into your heart. The world outside you is never the source of your power, your consciousness is. The chase, the attention, the obsession you desire is not something you must coerce or beg for. It is a reflection of the reality you assume within. When you act as though they are obsessed, when you live in the state of being already desired, you become a magnet for that which you have imagined. The universe cannot resist responding to a mind and heart fully aligned with certainty, joy, and fulfillment. Remember, the moment you stop waiting and start living from the end, from the reality you wish to see, the outer world becomes your reflection. Their obsession is inevitable, not because of force, not because of manipulation, but because your inner reality has already established it. You are the cause, they are the effect, your consciousness is the field, the outer world simply mirrors it. So, from this moment forward, carry yourself with the knowledge that you are irresistible, that you are magnetic, and that what you assume to be true will manifest. Act with confidence, feel with intensity, and imagine with unwavering faith. The world responds to your imagination. The chase is not something to demand, it is something that arises naturally when you embody the truth of your own consciousness. You are not asking for attention, you are commanding reality through the certainty of your assumption. Act as though they are obsessed, and watch how swiftly the universe aligns to your desire. This is not wishful thinking, it is the law. This is not hope, it is knowing. The power is yours, the reality is yours, and the manifestation is inevitable when you assume it fully and live as though it has already come to pass. Step into that reality now and let the world mirror the obsession that already exists within your consciousness.